A nervous breakdown is, it's like being in a nightmare and not being able to wake up. And then every so often you wake up and you say, oh, whoa, everything's normal. And then you go right back into that thing, that nightmare. I play a mobster on General Hospital. I've been doing General Hospital for close to 18 years. He's a lot darker than I am. You know, I'm more goofy in real life. He's on the dark side. But he's actually bipolar. That's a fact. He is great to play. After 10 years on General Hospital, I won my first Emmy, which was a great night for my family, my mom and dad, everybody. Growing up Hispanic, I loved my dad to death, loved my mother to death. And when I was a teenager, and I would go out and we'd fight, it did afterwards felt good. It gives you a sense of pride, but it's almost false pride. I'm the tough guy. But in reality, I believe I was the fragile guy. I was fragile inside. But I had to prove to people that I was something else. There's a lot going on in there, you know. I had just started acting. I was very bad in the beginning, but I had a passion for it. The coach that I had kept telling me to learn monologues and stuff. So I would be learning these monologues all night, okay? And I wouldn't sleep. And I'd just be kind of a way for me to release all my demons, if you want to call it. It felt great. I remember one day being with my mother watching Phil Donahue and going, I can read his mind. Well, that led to my dad coming home one day, and I got kind of rough with my mom, which I would never do in a normal situation. And then my dad would have to calm me down, and then I'd become real fragile. Oh, I'm sorry, I don't know what's come over me. And then that night, I started losing it completely. So the next morning, they took me to the hospital. Then they put me in this room, and I thought I was the exorcist. And I was fighting the doctors that were holding me down. I was spitting on my brother and my father. Then they gave me a shot, and they knocked me out. And when I woke up, I thought I had died, because it was so quiet in there, and the sun was coming through, that I thought I was in heaven. That's when I realized that I was sick, because they let me out in a wheelchair. And I remember this couple walking by. They just looked at me like they felt sorry for me, you know? And I knew that there was something really wrong with me. They were taking me now to kind of like a mental institution where I could walk around, you know? One time I jumped on the counter. I don't remember why I jumped on the counter. But I jumped on the counter, and they throw you in this, what they call a seclusion room. And it's like 4 walls and a bed, and they strap you down. There's a wall, and there was a latch, and I ripped off the latch. There was a point where I was thinking I wanted to end my life, because I couldn't live like this. So I took the thing, and I started like putting it to my wrist. I started praying and praying and praying. You know, I had my 22nd birthday in there, which was not great. Then I went home, and that's when, you know, the hard part starts, when the medication starts wearing off. And then you start realizing, or I did, that my life was done. That's the way I felt. I knew at that time, when I got home from, you know, the hospital, that I had gone through a nervous breakdown, and I knew that it felt just devastating. The pain, the depression felt really bad. So I went to Dr. Noonan, the psychiatrist, because a few other psychiatrists, they would just look at me and say, and how do you feel? And what do you think? And I'd be like, well, what do you think? I think I'm feeling a lot of pain. But Dr. Noonan was, you know, I went and told him my story, and he just looked up and he says, I believe you're manic depressive, and I'm going to put you on lithium. So he pretty much saved me, because at least I knew there was a name for something that was going on, and that he could give me, medication and treatment, and I would get better. And that didn't get better right away, but it did get better eventually. Let's just put it this way: when I stay on my medication, I do well. When I don't, I don't. So I've had 2 other manic episodes after the main one when I got off the medication. So I've been on medication now for 17 years. And I haven't had a manic episode or anything. I've had, other things, but not anything major. I get tempted to go off only because I think I'm doing good. But it's not, it's just false. It's so scary to take a chance. So I stay on my medication. I always want help. I'm good at knowing there's something wrong with me. And I'm not just talking about bipolar, I'm just talking in general. How I feel inside. I don't like to feel the ugliness that I have, so I want to fix it. People kept telling me that if I spoke about being manic, well, then it was manic depressive, now it's bipolar, that people would think that I was crazy and that I wouldn't get hired. What happened was I got a letter from a boy who said that his brother had committed suicide. He shot himself in the head because he was bipolar. And that he read something that I had in a little magazine or something that I had talked about. And that because he read that, it helped him deal with his brother's death. So after that, I said, you got to start thinking about yourself. And you got to do what's best, try to help other people. And so after that, I started talking about it. That, to me, means more than anything, really. I mean, it's bigger than acting. Who cares? Acting is what it is. But this is, if you could actually save somebody from doing something, it's amazing. I think other people now can say, hey, if this guy can do it, or if this woman can do it, then I know I can do it. And I think that's how you start erasing the stigmas of people just talking about it. Before you go through an episode or a breakdown, I think it's important to know what the signs are. For me, the signs were a feeling of grandiose, feeling of nothing can touch me. I can run 50 miles and you can't tell me I can't, because I can do it. Your thoughts start racing. Your obsessive thoughts start racing. Bah, 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 bah. You can't stop it. You can't stop it. Very emotional. Crying for no reason, and I'm talking bawling like a child. Feeling you can read people's minds. That's the thing that I did a lot. So if you ever start feeling those symptoms, you truly need to go get help. Truly get help. Hope is be with my family. I just love being with I keep saying it, but it's the main thing in my life. It's just being with my family. That's like where I feel at peace. I've been able to prove that with medication, living the life that I live, I can be productive and I can live, as normal as you can be, and that's important. That is important.